This is part two. Waking up with Renee, the news. And I know to this morning I really sound like I'm waking up because I am really exhausted. Okay, so they tell me that blacks are more sensitive. Okay, Mexico is radical. Nowadays, these Mexico to me has always been a sneak. I didn't want to leave it with that comment because it sounds racist, you know. And to make a difference, because Mexico is still Mexico. Mexico is not like saying Mexicans. Saying white, saying blacks, like saying Mexicans. But we're talking Mexico. And Mexico has a group of immigrants over here who have been placed in position to do wrong, even with the IRS. I was told the other day that Mexicans will try to block up my life, Mexico. They have placed people in every position to limit how far I go, and they're trying to take income. Now the warriors, they're hitting judges. The judge that illegally evicted me, she was a Mexican female. Uh, we had about four illegal evictions. Illegal. Uh, there was one on Casiana Homes. She was the female Mexican, and they're trying to get her. There was another. These it was the apartments on Fredericksburg where the lights was going off, the water was tampered, the thing caught on fire. Well, we thought it was a what is that? Paranormal activity at Tifa's place. Okay, we went there, and one judge says he couldn't judge it, so I stayed in the apartment longer. But then the next judge came, and he didn't look at the evidence, and so they're trying to get him, and he was a Mexican judge. Um, and then there was a third judge, the two judges, the one that gave the children up is Mexican. He's Mexican. Uh, there was a white lady. Uh, she was the one that did the fake court. The original CPS court was a fake court. They took us to a secluded place, so there was no. Normally, CPS court is filled with CPS workers and attorneys, But this particular court, it was just myself and a judge and CPS workers. So it was illegal. It was the ones that they were all Mexicans, the workers. Well, the judge looked white. I know her office in the courthouse is the first door when you come to the metal detectors. To the right, she has her own stand in the courthouse, but she came up to do the CPS case, and it was normally not her case. She also looked like the lady that was behind when they illegally put me in jail the first time. She looked like the judge that was doing the jail cases behind the bars, but I don't know. Anywho, um, yeah, so uh, that was a Mexican. Where was I at? Oh, the white lady that did the CPS case. She looked white, but the room's full of Mexicans. All the CPS workers were Mexicans. I mean Mexicans. Not Hispanic, but they all had that dark colored tint skin. There was four of them in there. Five, to include mine and my whatever you call it, that lady that sits on side when you're in the psychiatric ward, and I don't know what you call them people. Someone to handle your case for you. Anyway, and so that judge, and then the judge down at the regular courthouse. So, from my understanding, that the DA was Mexican too. And the one who, the original case that they took me and had me come back and forth 2 years where I never was able to approach a judge. My court appointed lawyer was Mexican. Well, we in Texas. Um, and then the one who illegally put the children into my mother's care, he's Mexican. So we're dealing with Mexico invading our land. Mm-hmm. And there's some who are taking matters in their own hand. They're hitting Mexicans on the streets because Mexican killed them. But here's the thing, as I was talking about earlier, there are some blacks, especially celebrity blacks, are saying, well, Jennifer Lopez and others like her, they don't have anything to do with Mexico, and yet we like them, so they're sensitive. They wouldn't hit it. Whereas Castro and Mexico themselves, they came over and they hit majority, you know, black celebrities, and then in retaliation, we had a lot of white folks that was hit. They're celebrities. They're you know, rich people were hit. And they jokingly said, well, Mexican didn't have anybody. And yet we see some that we still consider semi-rich. And they said the few they had. I'm pretty sure they're probably on Mexico soil if they considered. I mean, hey, I don't know. But anyway, so they're hitting judges now, from my understanding. But they did say Mexico goes as far up as the IRS. And there are many in the IRS. I think a long time ago they hit the one that was over the houses, that was doing the tax on the houses and stealing blacks' houses in Texas. When Perry left and Castro called himself moving up, and then, from my understanding, he took the news and perverted it. You know, when he killed the news people, he took their equipment and he began to make his own news. But from my understanding, the tax lady left then, but we still hadn't gotten the IRS. There are many Mexicans. In fact, recently I heard that the IRS said, well, the only thing she's living off her income tax. Let's make it to where she has to go down to have her income tax done by the Internal Revenue, which is on R410. These are Mexicans, you know, I just think they're so dumb. You know better. I mean, come on. But this is, and they were afraid. The lady, now FBI was also Mexico's. As Texas FBI was Mexico's. They're on my records. When Perry was saying she can't get food stamps, the lady from Tyler, Texas, black lady, read it off to me. Perry, the FBI was in there, and that's Mexico's. And so we've allowed Mexico, being so tender that we are as Americans, we've allowed Mexico in our positions. And so you understand what Donald Trump was talking about, but because he's a white man, and y'all do that all the time, it shouldn't be that way. If it's right, it's right. Now, I'm not saying that Donald Trump, because now he's trying to scream Hispanic, Hispanic, Hispanic. I don't know much about Donald, as I tell you all the time, but I know what my spirit's telling me, you know, and right is right. That if Mexico is wrong, they're wrong, and yet, how criminals get in that position, like Obama. The first thing they throw is racism, and the first thing you see is racism because the colors are different. But sometimes it has nothing to do with racism. And there's whites that won't even touch blacks and they're guilty because of racism. You got Mexican police come to my house and things being done wrong and they don't do anything about it. That's Mexico. Mexico. They're wrong, y'all. And when Donald said get them off our land, according to our Constitution, when they hit out blacks the way they did, they were supposed to be off our land. They attacked us as Americans, and they're still on our land. They're not supposed to be here. I go so far as to say if they skin color look Mexican, they should be on the hunting season list. And I'm not saying it because I'm a racist. I'm saying it because they have spies in America. When we go back to the old school way of protecting our land, I think we'll be better off. I don't think we'll be in as much bankruptcy as we're in, that they're lying about. Our money was stolen. You can't touch America like they have touched it. They have spies in our land and we don't care. We got positions where they're working for Mexico on American soil. They could never say the lower part of theirs. You know what they're fighting for? They're fighting for what Christopher Columbus gave them after they attacked Africa. And I said this before, and I need to say it again. If you've been on this land all those years, and there's no gates, we don't have Germany walls up, why is it that you didn't take over the entire land? Migration is migration. However you got to the lower part, you should at least been up higher by then. And you're gonna say, well, we have from California to Florida. That sounds like a deal. Someone zoned it to where you get from here to here, and we'll have from here to here. You can't tell me you had from Florida to California, and yet you never moved. You never migrated up because something was keeping you from migrating up. Was what? What you call it? An agreement. That's why you couldn't come up, right? You had an agreement, but with who? Christopher Columbus, because you were India. And they renamed you, or you renamed yourself because you believe spiritually in tribes and all that other stuff. That's India. That's why they wear them dots over their head. They're very, very spiritual people. And you all came over here because you had mixed with white folks and you established your own ways. You left the Indian custom. That's what kept you from migrating. You had boundaries and limitations because you made a deal with the white man. And forgive me for saying it like that, Caucasian, but that's what they call you.